This is your morning in 8 minutes. That dangerous heat sticking around today.
The Tennessee Valley Authority says they are breaking records for power demand this month that haven't been broken in nearly a decade. HVAC companies tell us their phones are ringing off the hook right now with people's units needing to be fixed. Some folks are having to wait weeks to get the parts necessary. The weather also playing a major impact for kids outside at summer camps this week. Doctors emphasize taking breaks is important, but staying hydrated is key. And we do want to check in with Chief Meteorologist Heather Haley. When can we see some kind of relief from this heat, Heather?
We really do have a few more days. So the heat persists. I mean, it is the season. The problem is the humidity. So that's what leaves us warm in the mornings. And it's actually the reason why we have a heat advisory, because that's what makes it feel like more than 100 degrees. So adding in the heat and the humidity combined impacts you. So feeling like 105 to 110 today with another heat advisory. Noon until 8 is when you want to limit time outside. Next couple of days, very similar. Let me show you that weather pattern change. Basically, we'll have a few showers and storms tomorrow, but the last little batch here wants to flare up in the region Friday afternoon. That's because the humidity hasn't budged yet. So a little bit more of a delay before we kind of squeegee out to that humidity. And then the weekend is more mild, actually more refreshing. Mornings, lower humidity. That's going to be the game changer. Even showing you that flow pattern. You can see that warm, humid air still flowing right into town to end the week. And then we shift to a drier air coming in from the north. Still warm, but drier. And that's what's going to make a big difference. So we'll break down that forecast for you here in just a moment.
Heather, thank you. Today marks 1 year since Summer Wells went missing from her Hawkins County home. Investigators are still working to find any clues into her disappearance.
An Amber Alert is still active this morning. Her parents, Don and Candace, claim someone kidnapped her from their home in the Beach Creek area, but law enforcement say that they have no evidence to support that claim. In a year, the TBI received more than 2,000 tips, and none of them have led to Summer. And while you were sleeping overnight, Don Wells, Summer's father, released a statement from jail where he's serving time for a DUI. He says since she went missing, he's been devastated. The statement goes on to say he hopes YouTube would be the most powerful tool in helping to find her. Search crews have combed the Hawkins County area searching for Summer. In October, in an exclusive interview, Don Wells showed us where he says the kidnappers took his daughter.
I think whoever grabbed her probably had her mouth covered, and I think she was gasping for air by the time she got down through here somewhere, because our neighbor heard a scream, a really funny scream. I think they just carried her to a vehicle and threw her in there and took her somewhere far away from here.
We do have a full timeline of the events since last year right now in the WVLT News app. If you know anything, call 1-800-TBI-FIND. And continuing coverage this morning, investigators say a fire that killed 2 children at a South Knoxville home likely started from the home's electrical system. Investigators say the fire started in a space between the house's basement ceiling and upper floor. Firefighters don't think someone set the fire intentionally, but because of how badly the home's damaged, crews can't be 100% sure. 6 people were at home during the time of the fire. 2 children died. The family took 10-month-old Grayson Stoll off life support this past weekend at Vanderbilt. His 3-year-old sister Delilah died shortly after the fire. A GoFundMe is now helping the family raise more than $38,000. We do have a way to contribute to that right now in the WVLT News app. And right now, UT police need your help finding these suspects. Take a look at your screen. These men are accused of robbing a woman after the UT baseball game on Sunday. Police say they approached a woman in a silver truck, bumped her chest, spit in her face, and stole her purse. If you know anything at all, call police. And a domestic assault charge against a Knoxville police officer is dismissed this morning. Officer Charles Roach remains on administrative leave with his police powers suspended. In May, KPD placed Roach on leave following a domestic matter at his home. He started with KPD in 2014 and is assigned to patrol. The Knoxville City Council is approving a lease agreement with the Helen Ross McNabb Center for a healthcare center in North Knoxville. The agreement will allow the McNabb Center to lease a part of the former St. Mary's Hospital campus for just $1 a year for 10 years. In return, the McNabb Center will commit to spending $4 million on renovations, bringing mental health and minor emergency care to the area. And around Tennessee, good news in the classroom. The state is reporting increases in student achievement from last year after the release of TCAP results. The state says every student group showed an increase in proficiency. Some highlights include 3rd grade English language performance, rebounding with 35% of students scoring proficient this year. And around the nation this morning, the Federal Reserve could raise interest rates by 3/4 of a percentage point. It would be the highest raise since 1994. The move comes as there are new fears of a recession after a miserable start to the week on Wall Street. Rising prices for housing, food, and other essentials like gas are making it hard for everyone to make ends meet. And today, a Food and Drug Administration panel will review Moderna and Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccines for children as young as 6 months old. The Biden administration says the shots could be available as soon as June 21st if they're approved. The panel voted to grant an emergency use authorization for Moderna's shots for children ages 6 through 17. Pfizer already received that same approval last year. And today, the man who shot President Ronald Reagan more than 40 years ago is being released.
John Hinckley Jr. is free from court-ordered psychiatric supervision. President Reagan recovered from the shooting. His press secretary, James Brady, would have to spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Hinckley's defense team and federal prosecutors reached an agreement on the release if certain conditions were met, arguing the now 67-year-old is no longer a risk to others. Hinckley spent more than 2 decades in a mental institution following the shooting.
It is 6:55 this morning. We do want to get a look at your first alert traffic with Whitney.
2 incidents on I-75 causing some issues this morning. The good news is this one on I-75 northbound was a vehicle fire. No lanes are blocked. Look like that congestion quickly clearing up for you this morning. This is the main delay getting out the door. This is right around Rocky Top on I-75 southbound. No word yet on any lanes of the interstate closed, but you can see that congestion quickly building. If you are headed this way, that traffic only moving about 10 miles an hour. You can use 25W or Norris Freeway as your alternate. Once you get past that, though, all those interstates and main roads running smoothly as you're going around downtown Knoxville.
Almost 6:56 now, and your first alert forecast here. Remember, we do have a few more days that are feeling like around 100. Now, Friday's still pretty warm and humid, but a few storms can help to knock back the heat. Then the humidity is wiped out by the weekend. So using caution, limiting time outside, staying hydrated if you work outdoors, all a must, as we do have that very muggy air in place across our area as a whole. That limits our cooling this morning and of course makes us feel hotter. We can also see it in the form of haze and fog. Right now, a lot of our area is foggy. You can actually see some new bands of fog up and down visibility throughout Knox, Union, Anderson, up I-75, Scott County, southeastern Kentucky. Some more fog has developed in the past few minutes as temperatures hang out in those mid to upper 70s. Look at your planner for today. Again, mostly sunny now, most of the day, mostly sunny, hot and humid. High 96 feels like 100 plus. And then the next couple of days, we'll have a few more storms. Again, we're tracking that changeover to dropping humidity for your Father's Day weekend.
That 88, those highs of 80s are going to feel like freezing.
Everyone's outside this weekend. Everybody.
6:56. We're headed to WBXX. We hope you have a good Wednesday.